freedom, because what it means is you open your mouth and you say what you believe. You don't have the mental gymnastics that says before you speak, how can I put this in ways they won't think I'm crazy? How can I, what can I leave out so they'll think I'm an all right person? I don't care what they think. I have no interest in it. I speak my truth and people make of it what they will. It's simple as that. So in the end, it all comes down to perception, because from perception comes everything else. You know, whether we can go into those levels in the time we have, I don't know. But I go into in the books. Yeah. In fact, that this reality is basically, the dynamic is basically like a computer and Wi-Fi. You know, you have Wi-Fi, which you can't see. It's a radiation field of information, extraordinary levels of information. What do they call it now? The cloud. And that information is in a certain form. It's in a radiation waveform state. But you get a computer, which can decode that information, and it puts it on the computer screen in a totally different form. And this world that we experience as the world is like a computer screen. The base form of this world is waveform information, potentiality and possibility, waiting to be decoded into manifestation. And so what dictates what we manifest from this potentiality and possibility, these fields of possibility and probability, what dictates what we decode into what we call an experience and what we don't? I say perception. For this reason, everything in our reality is frequency. Every thought and type of thought is a different frequency. Every emotion is a different frequency. So love is a frequency and hate is a very different frequency, and you can feel it. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, people talk about good vibes and bad vibes. Well, what are they? They're frequencies that are given off from people by their perceptual state in that moment. You know, people say that you go into a room, you cut the atmosphere with a knife. Well, what is the atmosphere? Mm-hmm. What is this word we call atmosphere? It's the energetic field impregnated by whatever perceptual state and emotional state is being generated in that room or has recently been generated.
And that means that our brain interprets that and then sends the hormones and therefore changes your mood.
Yeah, well, what we call hormones and the chemical level of the body is just a reaction. Exactly. It's a holographic expression of the vibrational state, the frequency state. Because everything's frequency. A poison is frequency.
True. Every atom.
Everything's a frequency. And so if we look at how we manifest reality and how some people manifest this reality and some people manifest that reality, imagine that the body brain is a biological computer system. Mm-hmm. I say it basically is, and what is experiencing through that system is the real I, consciousness. And the computer will decode from Wi-Fi what it is encoded to access. So someone likes sport, they'll go to a sport website, and your computer will pull the sport website onto the screen. Someone is interested in science, they'll go to a science website, and your computer, with that coding, will pull that website onto the screen. Well, the encoding of the dynamic between us and possibility, probability, the cosmic Wi-Fi, if you like, is perception. Because a perceptional state is a frequency state. If you believe that you are little me, that's your perception. You have no power. You are only your labels. And if your label tells you you are someone who works on a checkout in a supermarket and you've got no power and you're just little, you've got no power to do anything. If you take on that perception, which is a nonsense, But if you take on that perception, you will reflect in terms of frequency, both in range and level of frequency, type of frequency, that perception. So you're now interacting with the cosmic field of possibility and probability within that band of frequency, on that band of frequency, and that feedback loop will actually deliver to you experience that reflects your perception.
Mm-hmm.
So little me perception leads to little me experience. You change your self-identity, and people say, what can I do? I would say this is the bottom line. Change your self-identity. Let the labels go. The labels are experiences. Don't get caught in them. They're transitory, short experiences. There'll be another one along in a minute. What you are is the consciousness having the experience. That is not the real I, the labels. They're what the realized experience. But if you therefore self-identify with being consciousness, awareness, forget the body and all the rest of it, you're just awareness. And that awareness can be have a focus of attention that believes it is someone who works on the checkout supermarket, or it can be an expanded state of awareness which identifies with being awareness and potentially all awareness. It's just a matter of how much programming you want to let go to let the true I in its full magnitude. Now, that self-identity, I am all that is, has been, and ever can be, having an experience, I am all possibility, having an experience, is interacting with the cosmic field of possibility and probability in a much more expanded way and a higher frequency way. And you are able to therefore develop a feedback loop of experience and possibility to manifest into your reality that is vastly greater than someone who says, I'm just little me, I'm just Bill who drives a bus, that's all I am. And if you look at what people are bombarded with from cradle to grave, systematically, it's to self-identify with labels. I mean, look what we're seeing now. The labels are being subdivided into smaller and smaller labels.
Yes.
People's self-identity is becoming myopic. And the more you do that, the more that you are limiting your perception of self, thus limiting your ability to manifest a greater reality, a greater experience. I won't fall for that. David Icke is the name for my current experience. That's all. What I am is the consciousness having the experience. And whatever anyone does to me or says about me, then I will still go on eternally exploring forever. So things that people think are these massive all consequences, first of all, I'll tell you from experience, thinking about it is much worse than doing it. Oh yeah, but what might happen? Then you do it, and you think, well, this is not as bad as I thought. Yeah. And all that time, you stop yourself doing it, being afraid of what doing it would bring in terms of consequences, and now you're doing it, you say, well, it's not so bad. So just do it in the first place. And you'll find, if you speak your truth, I'm an experience. I am an example, but there are many, many, many other examples. I mean, an unbelievable number of examples I've come across around the world. You speak your truth, and you appear to get consequences. Maybe you lose your job, but suddenly something else comes along, because what we call coincidences are not coincidences, they're self-manifestation. Mm-hmm. This is why when people go through this process of deprogramming their perceptions from what they've been told to believe and just let their mind go free, they say, I woke up, that's what they say. Well, one of the constant themes that you hear from people like that, and my goodness me, I experienced it myself, is when it starts to happen, you start to experience amazing coincidences in your life, which you weren't experiencing before. But you see, if you are living your life believing in little me, I have no power, you are interacting with possibility and probability in such a narrow band that you're not going to manifest amazing coincidences and opportunities and things that drop in your lap just at the right time. You're not going to do it. But you expand, and this is what happens in the awakening process, you expand your self-identity, thus you expand your perception of possibility. Now you are interacting with possibility and probability at a level and on a scale where you can start to manifest these amazing coincidences that drop in your lap just at the right time. And this is why it happens. You know, that so many things drive me on.